it was a unanimous verdict. 9 judges have upheld the election victory of Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa. Now, the Constitutional Court dismissed an appeal by the opposition leader Nelson Chamisa, who had alleged that there was widespread rigging in last month's vote. Chief Justice Luke Malaba described the allegations as bold and unsubstantiated. Here is what the judge had to say while delivering his verdict.
The court finds that the applicant has failed to place before it clear, direct, sufficient, and credible evidence that the irregularities that he alleges marred the election process materially existed. In other words, there was no proof of the happenings of these irregularities as a matter of fact.
Well, no doubt Zimbabweans and indeed the world was keenly following the proceedings broadcast live on state television. But the BBC's Shinga Inyoka was at the Constitutional Court in Harare.
The uncertainty that has hung over this country since this July 30th election has been resolved in part with this Constitutional Court ruling. The 9-member bench of judges ruled in favor of Emmerson Mnangagwa. They said that the main opposition candidate, Nelson Chamisa, failed to give evidence or proof to substantiate his claims that there was ghost voting, double voting, and in some instances that results were counted twice. They also said that the Electoral Commission, which revised downwards Emmerson Mnangagwa's win, was within its rights to do so, and that it didn't materially change his victory. What happens now is that Emmerson Mnangagwa is expected to be inaugurated within the next 48 hours. We understand that that will happen on Sunday, but he might have received legitimacy from the courts. But what he needs to do now is to win over a divided nation, as well as reaching out to Nelson Chamisa, who still refuses to accept his victory. He has said that his door is open and that his arms are outstretched. And Nelson Chamisa, on his part, has said that he will continue to pursue a legal avenue as he disputes this victory as well as this court ruling.
Well, immediately after that ruling by Zimbabwe's highest court, we heard more reaction from the ruling ZANU-PF party. Patrick Chinamasa is the country's finance minister.
Freely expressed, we have never had the cleanest, fairest, most transparent, most credible elections such as we went through this past election.
Well, joining me from Harare is Dr. Nkulule Kosibanda, a Movement for Democratic Change spokesperson. Thank you for taking time to talk to us on Focus on Africa. The ruling is out, and the judges said the MDC failed, and these are his words, to place before it clear, direct, sufficient, and credible evidence. And there are some who believe that your application was a bit flippant, really. There was no seriousness in it.
I think that is devoid of what we presented in court, and people saw that the president's lawyers presented a coherent case, asked of the Electoral Commission to prove that its numbers could stand, the muster could stand any verification process, asked very easy questions. How many people voted in a particular constituency, in a particular province, in Mashonaland Central? The Electoral Commission had said, for example, 100,000 people had voted by 6 p.m. And by 7 p.m. they are claiming that over 400,000 people had voted, meaning that about 300,000 voted in just 1 hour. The court did not look into that. The court refused to look into that. And one wonders what kind of evidence you want us to produce if we're asking a simple question: how many people can vote within an hour in a province with less than 1,000 polling stations? You're asking a very simple question that the court is unable to, has been unable to answer to. And look at this. You have a court that's declared a winner, and the same court is unable to tell us by what number that court that person won the election. In fact, they are suggesting that there is no congruency between facts and figures. In fact, what we've known, what I've always known is that figures are facts, and we always say, give us facts and figures. And the court said, I will give you a fact and I'll give you no figures. That is unheard of.
Let me break in here, right. Dr. Sibanda. We have a little bit of a delay, but I want to ask you this because the ruling has already been made. What are your plans now as the MDC?
Well, look, the MDC is a party that has come out of the people, and the 2.6 million voters that we know voted for President Chamisa, as opposed to the 2 million voters that voted for ED, are going to be the ones that make a decision about how they want their country to progress, how their country moves forward. We know that the country is being held hostage here by a cabal that has a hold on power and believes that it has found a new way to maintain power, which is violence and lying at the same time. And I think that that will not stand the test of time. It is a very short-term strategy, and very soon it will lose its utility.
All right, Dr. Nkulule Kosibanda from the Movement for Democratic Change, thanks for taking time to talk to us on Focus on Africa.